Good evening, I'm going to call this meeting to order. At this time will be the pledge of allegiance. Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Moving on to roll call.
Mayor Villarreal,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Soria. Present. Councilmember Flores.
Here.
Councilmember Noel.
Here.
Councilmember Sanchez.
Here.
All are present.
At this time, we're going to go on to closed session. We shall return. We're back from, closed session, we have nothing to report at this time. Moving on to 7, the approval of the agenda, do I have a motion?
A motion to approve the agenda.
I second. I have a motion from Tony, a second from Dave, all in favor? Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
But at this time, I'm gonna move 11.1 up after the approval of the agenda, so we can take it away, chief. The introduction and oath of office of police sergeant, action and recommendation. You know, somewhere.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, your lieutenant members of council. It gives me great honor and privilege to introduce to you or reintroduce to some of you been around, to Andrew Martinez. He's our newest hire at the Lindsay Department of Public Safety. He was picked up as a lateral sergeant. So he has prior experience at the Portable Police Department, most importantly, the Lindsay Department of Public Safety, most recently the Wood Lake Police Department. And we're very happy to welcome him back after we can attract quality candidates, especially those that have experience, already know all of our streets and are fairly turnkey. It makes that transition very easy for us. So we're happy to get them already out on the road and doing great things. So what's the Madam Mayor? Or, I'm sorry, Madam Clerk. Stay there. Madam Clerk. Minister.
Who was it?
I paid him. Right. I, Andrew Martinez,
I, Andrew Martinez,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or participation,
that I will well
that I will well
and faithfully
and faithfully
discharge the duties upon
discharge the duties upon
which I am about to enter.
which I am about.
Well, welcome back to Lindsay.
Thank you. I just want to say I'm very thrilled to be back. Been gone for 3 years and 3 years too long. Excited to be back and back controlling the city of Lindsay, you know, assisting the citizens here in our community. So thank you.
Thank you. This time, we're gonna move on to council report, anybody can start. Well, I can go first, I have really not much to report, because it's been a very slow month, and, yeah, I know there's a lot of coming events, I know the month of August always is busy for me, here on out, I'll have a bunch to report back, so, but welcome everybody.
Welcome back, Sergeant. Thank you everybody for attending. It's been an eventful month, about a month since the last met. And it's been fun. There's been a lot of parks and recreation events. We have the potato fundraiser. And I really appreciate the entire Parks and Rec staff putting on the events for the community at the Olive Bowl, at the Wellness Center. And it warms my heart to see the people use the Wellness Center for open swim, for recreation, for pickleball. It's exciting to see that more and more people are making benefit of all the investment that we've made in Lindsay. Other than that, we wrapped up skimmers. Our skimmer season has ended. We did very well at our finals. We have 30 swimmers represent the city of Lindsay in the Skimmers Club, which is double what we had the previous year. Now football has started. Lindsay football and cheer has officially started. This is their second week, so If you have anybody that's associated with the program, they'll probably be inviting you or asking you for donations or money, so. I look forward to the rest of the summer. There's a lot of good stuff still going on. There's a lot of recreational events still happening, the pop party and things of that nature. So I appreciate everybody being here. It's a fun summer. I hope everybody's enjoying their summer, staying cool. I know the heat is up now, so make sure you stay hydrated. Thank you everybody for coming.
Thank you.
Hi, welcome everybody. I wanted to comment on the general survey that Parks and Rec put out. It was the longest survey ever. I almost gave up, but man, there were so many questions, but I appreciate the effort that you guys put into that, and I did finish it. It was really long though. So let's find like a Reader's Digest version of it, and maybe we can ask some questions. Thank you for the volleyball net too, that I really appreciate it, because people complain about volleyball net all the time, so thank you for addressing that. And thank you to City Services, Law Enforcement, or PD for the street repair signs that we have up by the school. We're actually meeting with the school about all the construction that's gonna start, because school does start August 10th. So be ready for the school traffic again. Also attended both baked potato sales for PEO and the Bureau fundraiser, and I got to attend the police academy graduation, last week. It was really, really neat to see all of those, the graduates, and it was a really important day. It was nice. It was, I missed some of it, but I don't miss the uniform. Like wearing the uniform, being hot in the summer. But I love it. I'm still, in my heart, I'm still there, but it's okay. I love my job, and it's really neat. Also, thank you to the fire department. I don't know if you were there for the
That's right.
yeah, last Friday they went out to the football field and wet all the little kids because it was the end of their hell week. Yeah, and man, that's a lot of work. It was so hot. So thank you to the fire, to Chief Nate for sending them out there and letting them wet kids. So I got a lot of compliments about that. And I've received a lot of compliments about the park too. So, and just having so many people out there. So thank you. That's it.
Thank you.
It's good to see everybody here. Jimmy, that means a lot of great ideas, right? That should keep us on track, which is also good. But I do want to say, just please keep cool, drink a lot of water. If you're going to the river or lakes, please wear life jackets, have your kids wear the life jackets, even adults. That's basically it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, thank you. Moving on to public comment. Members of the public may address the city council on matters within the jurisdictions of the city of Lindsay. Persons wishing to address the council concerning an item on the agenda will be invited to address the council during the time the council is considering that agenda item. Persons wishing to address the council concerning issues not on the agenda will be invited to address the council during the public comment portion of the meeting. When invited by the mayor to speak, please step up to the lectern, state your name and city residence, and make your comments. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. So at this time, we're taking public comment. Want to say this?
Sure.
Thank you.
Se invita al público a comentar sobre cualquier tema bajo la jurisdicción del Ayuntamiento de Lindsay. Tenga en cuenta que quienes desean comentar sobre un punto regular o una audiencia pública de la agenda de esta noche tendrán la oportunidad de hacerlo cuando la alcaldesa solicite comentarios públicos sobre el punto. El tiempo de comentarios se limitará a 3 minutos por persona, con un total de 30 minutos para el periodo de comentarios, a menos que la alcaldesa indique lo contrario. Por favor, digan su nombre y domicilio. Gracias.
Thank you. So, public comment. Anybody?
Yep, it is.
Anita Stephen, City of Lindsay. Read this really fast today, sorry. I would like an explanation on 13.8 regarding the outstanding balance. I didn't write this right, it's 7,865,000 on the refunding bonds. And on 13.9, I appreciate the transparency provided presenting the city's financial information on the 24-25 budget. But for the benefit of the public, could you please provide a brief explanation for the budget variances, the over and under budgets, if you could explain the reasons briefly, if possible. On 1510, the property on Hermosa, it is in deteriorated condition, and so I'm wondering if you would be able to provide the city's plan for its future use. I know that they're expected to begin within 6 months, if I remember correctly. And so I'm just wondering what improvements are anticipated for that project. I do have a comment on action item and public hearing.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more public comment? No? All right, going once, going twice. It is closed. At this time, we'll move on to 12.1, the proclamation starts to make life better, like that.
Hello, everyone. So, here. This proclamation recognizes the importance of equitable access to local parks, recreations, trails, open space, and facilities for the positive development of all Californians and their communities. Whereas Parks and Recreation promotes physical, emotional, and mental health and wellness through organized and self-directed fitness, play, activity, and whereas Parks and Recreation supports the economic vitality of communities by partnering with local businesses and nonprofits and offering events for residents' engagement. And whereas Parks and Recreation creates memorable experience through youth sports and enrichment activities, teen centers and programs, senior activity centers, adult fitness and enrichment programs, great community events, and beyond. And whereas Parks and Recreation fosters social cohesiveness in communities by celebrating diversity, providing spaces to come together peacefully, modeling compassion, promoting social equity, connecting social networks, and ensuring all people have access to its benefits. And whereas Parks and Recreation strengthens community identity by providing facilities and services that reflect and celebrate community character, heritage, culture, history, aesthetics, and landscape. And whereas Parks and Recreation supports safe, vibrant, attractive, progressive communities that make life better through positive alternatives offered in the recreational opportunities. And whereas the California Parks and Recreation Society has released a statewide public awareness program, Parks Make Life Better, to inform citizens of the many benefits of utilizing parks, facilities, programs, and services. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the citizens of California recognize the importance of access to local parks, trails, open space, and facilities for the health, wellness, development, inspiration, and safety of all Californians. And be it further resolved that we declare the month of July 2026 as Parks Make Life Better Month. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Joe Soria, Mayor Pro Tem, on behalf of the Lindsay City Council, do hereby proclaim July 2026 as Parks Make Life Better Month. In witness thereof, I hereby set my hand and cause the seal of the city of Lindsay be affixed this 21st day of July 2026.
All of our park people out here.
Down the parks.
And
Okay,
don't forget to grab your guys' cute little Lindsay stickers, it's gonna start to make life better. And our little Lindsay. Don't understand me, they're really gonna have black house.
Thank you. A lot of work, our parks crew do, day in and day out. I invited them all here tonight, I was hoping they would make it, but, that's all right. So thank you guys for your support, the community support, making, our parks and our communities a lot better, quality of life, just supporting us with our projects, our crazy thoughts, our programs. Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you, Armando. And, the city manager is gonna do this report now, I'm going to do a little remix. I don't know why I always miss it, but I always miss it right there. So thank you like that.
Thank
Take it away,
you,
guys.
Madam Mayor. I'll keep this very brief. we've been, meeting with, developers, prospective developers. There's some, renewed interest on the commercial side, with some of the vacancies that are in town, as well as, some residential developers, multifamily developers. So, there's been quite a bit, over the past, several weeks. We've also, staff has been evaluating and in the process of applying for some new grant opportunities, so we've identified several. And so we're in the works for that, and, should be coming to the council with those over the next, several months. As there's some deadlines that are approaching for us to actually apply for those. We have, Economic Development Corporation Board meeting, tomorrow for the county. There's been some challenges with staffing for that organization. And so there's, some discussion that I believe that's going to be happening tomorrow as far as the future of the organization. There was some direction previously as far as, seeking some outside help. There was an RFP that went out, and so, there was a firm that was selected to help us with that, process, but, there's also been continuing to be challenges financially, and, the county's been helping run the organization, since, the past executive director resigned, and so it's just been some challenges. So, I'll have more to report, at the next council meeting on what the direction is going. There's been a couple of cities that have already, left the board and left the organization, so, we'll have more to report next month. I want to thank our employees. We, had a nice, employee luncheon, a couple of weeks ago, right below us, downstairs in the basement. And so it was a good little gathering just, after the budget was approved, that just, recognize folks and played a few little games, during the lunch hour, before everyone went back at it. So, thank you, Gustavo, for creating both of you, Lindsay, this couple. It was definitely a interesting and fun way to just appreciate what all the different departments do, on a regular basis. And then, lastly, next Monday, the, USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture's, California Rural Development Executive Director will be coming to town, to visit Lindsay. I had met with him, earlier in the summer, and, he was committed to, visiting Lindsay. We've partnered with the USDA in the past to do, multiple projects on the water and sewer side. I think even with the wellness center, possibly some other, options with some of their loans and their grants. And so we'll be doing some tours, showing what some of the investments that they've already done in the city and what that looks like, as well as looking at new opportunities to partner with them for some grants and possibly some, low interest loans as well. So, that should be good and hopefully, fruitful for, Lindsay for some additional projects. That's all I have.
Thank you, Kevin. Moving on to the consent calendar. Routine items approved in one motion unless the item is pulled for discussion. There will be no separate discussion of these matters unless a request is made, in which event of the item will be removed from the consent calendar to be discussed and voted upon a separate motion. Do I have a motion? Yeah, run forward, run forward.
I move the agenda. I'm sorry,
The consent calendar.
yeah. Consent calendar.
I have a motion from Nate, a second from Gloria, all in favor? Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
We're moving on to department. The reports, am I right on that? Yeah. Okay. 14.1, the city clerk and human resource, Miranda.
Yeah, good evening. There's some updated stats from our last, update in March. Since then, we've had 16 new hires. 2 were from the public safety department, both full-time people. And we have 14
Recreation, from the recreation department, we just seasonal employees. We have 4 sports officials and 10 lifeguards. We do have 2, or actually 3 upcoming. We have 2 new hires for the city services department. An administrative secretary and utility operator trainee. We also have 1 more for parks and recreation, which is a maintenance worker. That position closes the end of day tomorrow. And I was just informed we have 204 resumes I will have to filter through 78. We've also had 2 promotions since then, 1 police sergeant and 1 part-timer in our going from recreation leader 1 to recreation leader 2. We've had 8 terminations and we've had 1 retirement, service of 33 years. She couldn't make it to the meeting today. We wanted to recognize her, but she couldn't make it. That gives us a total of 47 as of today. 47 full-timers, 19 part-timers, and including the 12 reserve / firefighters, we have a total of 78 staff. Kyler briefly went over our employee appreciation that we just had. We did have our employee spotlight for April, June, and July, coming out of our finance, fire, and city services department. And we've also had our own luncheon that was in the city hall basement. That was not a joke.
Hey, it's not dark.
No, they cleaned it out. They cleaned it out. It sounded gloomy.
Well, I've been down there.
We did play some games. Thank you to Gustavo. He created, I'll have to show you, he created our own Materia. And we did have a salsa competition.
Oh, dancing or food?
We didn't do the dancing, but that will be the next one. Food, yeah, it was really, really good, and it was a tough actual competition, and we did have some small prizes, for the winners, so we did have.
So who won?
Is on our recreation department, his name, Steven. He's a part-timer. and he's hired.
Tall, lifeguard?
No, I don't know, I don't think you guys, yeah, this. I don't think,
He's
yeah,
really good.
yeah, he's really good, yeah.
Where's it belong?
Mhm.
I lived there all summer.
Well, I'll put samples out for you. Oh, yeah, he's right here at the corner. I don't know if you know. Yeah. Really
Make
good.
you some cheating.
Also, we have, an update to our website that's currently in process. This is gonna be a 14 to 16 week process, from what I'm told. The current platform has reached, or is reaching the end of its life term. We are really outdated. And so the project timeline is in 5 phases. We are starting in phase 3. This is all behind the scenes, and I was told that it doesn't include any interruptions. The transition should be easy. Right now, we're doing design, software, and enhancements. This also includes, we have doc access now. So this is our current website, but just to show you a little bit what doc access does on our website. For our agenda, it's in English. On the right, you can translate to different languages. It is not 100% accurate, but it's the best we can do at this time. But it's there, and it actually translates, making that uploaded to the website. So this should be on the right side of any document that's on.
That's live?
That's right now. Yeah. When we do upload, just FYI, when we do upload some packets or stuff that's heavy or has a lot of logos, it's gonna take a while for it to actually filter the entire document. So sometimes you might run into it, like we just posted, and you wanna pull it from the website, and it hasn't converted completely yet to be accessible. Give it like an hour or so, and it will. It just
That's
depends
how
on
we
the
do before
documents
when
out.
all they sit there right away, it's like, click on them.
Yeah.
It's only got 2 pages.
Yeah. We also have a meeting this week, or I have a meeting this week to go over more details on the website. An update on our public records requests, it has increased. I believe the time frame from the amount I told you last time was like 90 within 9 months. Well, we've had 77 requests since March, so it's only a few months, and we've had some large requests. We've had to ask for extension, because there's so much.
Yeah.
And then upcoming for trainings, we do have several $1 million you'll have to attend for the website, and we also have our Tyler trainings as well for the new, program that finance is implementing. And then we are hoping that we get into the CNC Institute, for clerks series 200 next Monday, fingers crossed, but they don't, they did last time. And that's all I have for this update.
Thank you, Miranda. As you guys can see, she's getting Lindsay out of the Stone Age. So, we are trying, yes. We're trying to stay updated with technology, so thank you, and I appreciate you. At this time, we are moving on to action items. 15.1, awarding the contract for the pool deck renovation project, action and recommendation, this is by Armando.
Good evening, council. Tonight, staff recommends city council adopt resolution 26-32, awarding the contract for the pool deck renovation project to Sun Point Services LLC in the amount of $663, or $663,832, and provide a $66,383.20 contingency to deal with any unforeseen issue that might arise during construction for a total of $730,215.20. Also, staff further recommend that the city manager and or designee be authorized to execute the agreement. So we did receive 3 bids. Your report, you'll notice, they're really spread out. The lowest one was the 663,000. Next one was about 890, and the next one was 1.2 million. Reason why that's so low, everything is done in-house. They don't have so much subcontractors coming in and doing the work. Everything's in-house, so it makes it a lot cheaper for us to have the project done. Then I'll answer any questions you have, or do you want to open it up?
Do you have any questions?
I have a question. I know that we're expected to be done by January. Is there, and I know we have a contingency, is there a penalty for not meeting the deadline or?
We do have that in the RFP, so there is a fee they would have to pay for each day that they do not complete the project.
Thank you. Any more questions? Concerns? At this time, I'll take a public comment for 15.1.
I was gonna just one more thing. And we do have Sun Point online, so if you have any other questions, more detailed questions, they'll be able to answer those for you.
Thank you.
Just a real short one, now that we're investing in this renovation of pool service, I was wondering if there was a maintenance plan in place to address the ongoing pigeon issues. Sorry, guys. It's just unsanitary. Ugh. Additionally, I'm back on this again, with the scope of the project, maybe updating the outdoor pool showers, just to ensure that the facility is kept, well maintained. And then, of course, positive experience. It's just that the same state on the. Okay, that's 16.
Thank you, Anita. Any more public comment? No, go ahead. Are you responding?
No. It's been an issue. It got a lot better, but it's still an issue. We put big owls, bikes, everything. for an outdoor area, it's really hard to, keep those pigeons away. Next step would be probably a sound machine. Um, yeah, it's annoying, so I don't want to. They're gonna be complaining about the noise and then about the pigeons back, so, but it has improved. We redone the netting about 2 years ago, along the awning around the facility. We had that rainstorm in 2023. It caused a lot of damage. We got that replaced. That was about, I think it was about 20,000. So, we're doing our best to keep pigeons away. It has improved, but it's feels like it's never ending battle.
The silver can get put in the ground.
We tried everything.
Somebody out
We put a
there.
hawk on the facility that makes noise on sensor. It's solar powered. And
Put a
so,
roof on.
out of budget.
At this time, do I have a motion for 15.1?
Motion to approve 15.1, awarding of the contract for pool deck renovation project.
I second.
I have a motion from Claudia, a second from me, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries 5-0.
Moving on 15.2, awarding the contract for the well 11 for the Pocori and the nitrate treatment project, and this is presented by Dario.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Tonight, staff recommending the adoption of resolution 2636, awarding the contract for well 11 for chloride and nitrate treatment project to Roselle Engineering, Roselle General Engineering Contractor, and the amount of 7.47 million, and providing 1.5 million, approximately 20% contingency to deal with any unforeseen issues that might come up during construction, for a total of 8.96 million. Staff further recommends that city manager, and our designee be authorized to execute the agreement. A little bit of background, we had a public bid opening on June 30th. We had 12 bid proposals, all ranging from 7.4 to 9.5 million. The top three responsive bidders and corresponding bid results are as follows. Roselle General was the lowest bidder at 7.47. Dollar Molding, 7.58. Unified Field Service Corporation at 7.75. The engineer's estimate for the project construction cost was approximately 6.5. It is anticipated that full funding will be secured and full through the California Department of Water Resolving Fund, the DWSRF program administered by the Water Board. Staff reviewed the bid proposals and determined that the Roselle proposal was the lowest responsive bidder. It is the opinion of staff that the bid should be accepted and a notice of award should be issued. The project addresses the rehabilitation of our existing well 11, mitigating past water contamination issues associated with perchlorate and nitrate. The project will furnish and install one 250 horsepower deep well vertical turbine pump, installation of an ion exchange water treatment for the removal of perchlorate and nitrates, the construction of a pre-engineering metal building to house the treatment system, treatment equipment, the construction of a land evaporation pond to deal with backlash waste from the exchange of the treatment process. There's gonna be some electrical improvements and some site civil improvements. Most of you know that the well is located on West Mariposa Street, approximately 900 feet east of Highway 65. The well was drilled in the 80s and was producing approximately $1,400 per minute prior to being out of service in 2008. But it is expected that we'll have similar yield post-construction based on the most current pump tests we've had in other time. The project is currently funded in the amount of 5.9 mil via grant. It was anticipated that the bid results exceeded the engineer's estimate of 6.5, and the current allocation of 5.94 for the grant. This funding deficiency was anticipated, and a final budget approval request was submitted last week to the Water Board to offset the difference. We've been in contact with the grant administrator post bid. He's aware of the issue. and an increase in the funding has not been a concern. The completion of the project will add an additional 1,000 gallons per minute to the system capacity. The additional water supply is required to reliably serve the citizens of Lindsay and meet the new demands of the almost approved subdivision developments. I am available for any questions.
Thank you, Dario. Any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. I want to say thank you for all your diligent work and for the staff as well. I was graduating high school and this well went offline, and it's the same time that a lot of the projects that were planned fell through. And because we were never ever we didn't get it back online, a lot of the projects never continued. And that's why you have a lot of dead projects in Lindsay, because this well was never a priority for the city council and there was no funding. I was part of the Prop 218 committee that was gonna use part of that monies to try to address this. We weren't sure how long it was gonna take. Fortunately, we were able to find some grants, and something that we were gonna have to wait a long time is now happening now. And this is the biggest investment that I've seen in the infrastructure of Lindsay. I know we don't have great roads, but this is more important than roads. This is the water that you bathe, yourself with, you bathe your children, you drink, you drink yourself. And so I really appreciate the effort. I'm gonna be monitoring closely because I wanna make sure that, we stay on schedule. And I guess the one question is there a contingency for them missing the deadline? If once we get the deadline, is that okay?
So, yeah, so we have a pre-con meeting coming up, and we're gonna go over all those details, but hold it, definitely.
Thank you. Do you have any more questions?
And how soon after we award it, will we start the project?
We're hoping to meet like in the next week, and mobilization will occur a couple of weeks after that, from my experience. This is a drill that it's from the coast area, so it might be a little longer, but I would anticipate, within the next 30 to 60 days.
Is that area where it was a part of the street project? No, so they'll be able to come in and out.
Right.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
Any more questions? No. I'll take public comment of 15.2.
I would say thank you to Donna. You did a great job. So based on the information presented, when I read the staff report, it seems like this is being funded through grants, the well 11 being now funded through grants. So I was wondering, what happened to the settlement money, the $6.5 million? Have it been allocated? Or where did it go? Did it go into the city's general fund? Anyway, that was the question.
Thank you. Good. But I was gonna answer that question.
Yeah, so, over the past two fiscal years, we have, with SQM funds, we paid off, quite a bit of debt. Last year, in last year's fiscal year, we also created a reserve, which our audit said we were lacking and we needed to do that. And we paid, put some money towards, our retirement obligations. And so that was the primary focus of those funds. We did that after securing, the grant allocation, for that and working with the state board, for this project. Because initially, council had, taken the action to set it aside, and hold it, for the, rehabilitation of this well.
Thank you. Did I answer your question, Mike?
You went to the well then?
It went to reserves, it went to pension obligations, it went to paying off debt.
When we first knew that we were gonna get this money, it was supposed to be meant for that specific well.
But we got grants for it. So we have to operate Lindsay like a business.
Well, when we,
So it's just sitting there, yeah. Yeah.
But if the thing is, when you start mixing money, we're going back in time.
well, we reviewed it, council approved that action, we took that, to council and we discussed that and, council didn't bring up any concerns at that point in time.
And did we know it was the 6.5 million that was allocated to the well?
Yes. We had the engineer's estimate, the engineer's estimate of 6.5 million is a 3-year-old number. So that's not new. What the bids came in at was what we anticipated, and myself, the mayor pro tem, we met with the chair of the state water board in April, sharing concerns that we thought that, there would be some rising increases just because the engineer's estimate was an old figure. We've been talking with staff at the state board for over a year, since we were first awarded the initial dollar amount, talking with them about, the challenges and rising costs. They're seeing this statewide with all the projects that they're funding, so they anticipate this, and this is a priority project for them, and they want to make sure that it's funded.
Any more questions? Any more public comment for 15.2? Public comment is closed. Do I have a motion? For 15.2?
I move we approve 15.2.
A second.
I have a motion from Nate, a second from Sawyer, all in favor? Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, Council.
Bradwell 11's gonna be up and running soon. City deserves that. Moving on to 16.1, the public hearing of the formation of the Community Facility District number 2026-1 to provide services. This is the time and place to set for public hearing regarding the proposed establishment of the Community Facilities District number 2026-1 of the city of Lindsay. I declare this public hearing open. The city council has received a community facility district report prepared by Web Municipal Finance LLC, special tax consultant to the city, which is hereby entered into the record of the public hearing. At this time, are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? So at this time, I'm opening the public comment for 16.1.
Mayor, if I may, we do have our consultant, with municipal finance online, who has a small presentation, and then we can open up a hearing.
Perfect.
We do have, Mr. Chesney online. There he is.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the City Council. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Perfect.
Real quick, before we continue, I'm sorry, on my staff report, there's 7 action items. Number 7, waiving further reading, ordinance 705 can be removed. We will have a second and final, ordinance hearing, next month.
You said that for 705, you said?
So, yeah, so just, it says waive further reading, item 7 under action items. That's typo, it can be removed. We'll get a second.
The second.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Go ahead, man.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the City Council. My name is Matt Chesney with Web Municipal Finance. We serve as the special tax consultant for the city's CFDs. I'm here tonight to present an overview regarding the resolution of formation for Community Facilities District number 2026-1. CFD 2026-1 is a citywide annexable CFD designed to ensure that new development within the city adequately funds the increased demand for municipal services. As a condition of approval, new developments will be required to annex into the CFD to finance public services, including public safety, graffiti removal, road maintenance, storm drain maintenance, landscape and lighting maintenance services, and any additional services permitted under the Melrose Act. Each development will be assigned a rate specific to the maintenance scope of its local improvements. For Tax Zone 1, the maximum special tax rate for fiscal year 2026-27 is $946 per dwelling unit. Commencing July 1st, 2027, and each subsequent July 1st, the maximum special tax rate will escalate by the greater of the change in the Consumer Price Index, or 3%. The map on the left illustrates the boundaries for Tax Zone 1 This is the development that will be forming the CFD initially. And the map on the right depicts the potential annexation area for the CFD. The annexation area boundaries match the city's boundaries, enabling any new project to annex into the CFD. This slide depicts the next steps for the CFD formation. On June 9th, the city council adopted the resolution of intention. Tonight, the council will conduct the public hearing to receive any public testimony or written protests. Following the hearing, the council will consider the resolution of formation, the introduction of the ordinance to levy the special tax, and conduct the landowner election. And on August 25th, the second reading of the ordinance is scheduled to occur. This slide summarizes the ongoing annual administration of the CFD after it's formed. Each year, as special tax consultant, we will research partial changes and request building permits from city staff. We will collaborate with city staff to establish the annual special tax requirement, which considers the actual costs of the municipal services provided by the city, the allowable escalation rate of the maximum special tax, and the final tax rate required to be levied for the upcoming fiscal year. Once calculated, the special taxes will then be submitted to the county for enrollment on the property tax bill. And additionally, we will prepare and submit the annual reports required by the state. That concludes my brief presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Yeah, what type of taxes are you talking about here? What do you estimate as the taxes that are gonna be included in our property tax?
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing the question.
So these taxes are for new developments, and this one in particular, is specifically for the O'Hara project. And so, in a lot of the newer developments, we have lighting and landscape district, what we'll talk about at the next, agenda item. But this is in lieu of that. So this is another mechanism to, maintain the area. It is a tax. Any, potential home buyer there will be aware of that. There'll be a disclosure, so they'll know about the annual, fee. This is something that the developer is interested in implementing, so they have multiple options that they can go through. They can go a lighting and landscape district, there's a community facilities district that services those areas, or they can do a homeowners association. So this particular developer, in talking with them, when they began the process, this was the, interested path that they wanted to take, and that the city, has gone through with community facility district.
What's your concern? On the,
It's just more taxes for our community. It's always that, there's always a levy, there's always a district that has to be paid, and now taxes. It's extra. I mean, look at our community.
I think it's getting better. I mean, if you go to any other community, the same thing, they have HOAs and stuff like that, you know? I mean, if we don't do it, who's gonna pay for it, the city? Yeah, I mean, I'm here to hear for every year to maintain it.
Well, this isn't for maintenance. Does it specifically say for maintenance?
Yeah,
It is, for the most part, it's maintenance, but it also has other, factors like safety and, but it is mainly for maintenance, essentially it works similar to the levy, it's just in this case, you have other components of it.
What do you mean safety? Is there gonna be a police officer there or what?
I mean,
Is it tax
So
paid?
with the taxes that are collected help to offset any of the impacts that the new development would have. So if there's additional calls for service, there's additional usage for parks, if there's, streets, any other type of maintenance for the community, then this will help offset those costs. So Webb provided, they worked with staff, they developed, a study to determine what those costs would be, came up with this number based on the needs of that particular community. Again, it's not necessarily a new tax, as nobody lives in the area currently. So anybody moving in, they would be aware of this. If they thought that it was prohibitive, they wouldn't have to necessarily buy a home in that community.
How much is the tax?
What's proposed is 900 and change.
946.
Then party,
A 3% increase year over year.
3%?
Increase year over year.
Every year.
Yeah, so we did have a CPI of 3%, because if you see the history, we have all our districts rolling it upside down. This will allow us to, still stay in the positive.
And the city does have the option to tax up to the maximum special tax amount. They don't have to tax that maximum amount. They can decide to tax lower than that as well.
So what's the lowest you can? You, I know that, but I'm saying to make money, like, so we're not in the negative. Like I say, if we don't have to go to the max, like,
Well, so the dollar amount that was analyzed and what's presented, shows that that will cover our costs to provide services. So because of what it is, we can't go over and above, so we're not really making money. That's just covering existing costs per home on an annual basis. But if we wanted to subsidize those types of services like we do with other areas, that could always be lower.
And there's a possibility of keeping it lower, because there are obviously new improvements that don't require as much as training and things like that. And then that's why we're also doing annual assessments. So every year we look at the numbers and see if we make some modifications.
So is it like Soria said, that it's gonna increase 3% every year?
3% of the assessment. So it doesn't have to be 3% of 946, it can be 3% of whatever the city decides to bill.
so could we come back to this and say like, okay, like, they don't need that much maintenance, it's not,
Every year.
every year we're gonna be, okay.
But are you saying that the initial cost is gonna be the 946, or is that the maximum?
946 will cover our costs, and that is for now the maximum. It can also increase depending on, what happens with the infrastructure there.
So I just wanted to say this, so 946 divided by 12 is 78.83. So that's pretty much for those people that are gonna be purchasing a new home, that's what they would be paying in tax for this CFD. It's a tool that a lot of more, let's say, advanced communities use, because it doesn't just do the lighting and landscaping. It provides the opportunity to invest in roads. The reason we don't do roads in Lindsay is because there's no funding. Right, this again will help provide more funding, because it would go, some of it would go into the general, if I understand this correctly.
We always think it's gonna go somewhere and it goes somewhere else.
Well, when it's lighting and landscaping district, it stays in the lighting and landscaping district in that specific fund. This is a different mechanism, right? $78, $80 a month to try to have a better community, a better cul-de-sac, a better landscaping district, not landscaping, a better district. I think it's worth it, right? So I think it's a useful tool. I think it's good that we try to go away from lighting the landscaping districts. And if more communities wish to incorporate into the CFP, hopefully, what is the mechanism to be annexed into?
We would have to, any new developments would have to come before council, and they would have to annex. We'd have to do a separate study for each of those to determine what their dollar amounts would be. So each zone would be, area would be different. So it wouldn't necessarily be citywide for all new developments. Each would have to stand on their own, because there's different amenities in each one. So storm drain, some might have a larger one, some may connect to a already existing. So depending on maintenance, other type of amenities do this. and correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe this was a condition of approval for this, development, for this, so this was, a part of that whenever this was approved several years ago for the O'Hara project, that this would be a process, a condition of approval to have the CFD.
Okay, any more questions, concerns? I'll take a public comment for 15.2. Or open up the public comment, sorry.
16.2, 16.2.
This is, oh, you know what, sorry, 16.1.
16.1 now.
Yeah, 16.1.
So I just want to be clear that this is not a citywide formation. So it's just this one, housing project. That will be the new development.
Well, so technically it is actually citywide, however, no, the only people that will be taxed will be this particular development. So there will be zones within it, so from a process standpoint, we don't have to go through an ordinance to create multiple CFDs for every new development that comes along. They will just be annexed into the existing, but no existing homeowner would be a part of this. So there is an election as well, which will come, so voters have to actually, the property owners have to, agree to be a part of this. So hence why this typically is only done with new developments, because there's only one property owner at that point in time, before, prior to any homes actually being sold. It's the developer that is voting on it and wants.
When do they vote on? Because there's no houses out there yet. And how do they vote on it?
There's one property owner currently, the developer, and so they have voted on it. And we will see.
One will speak for
Yeah.
all the other ones?
Yeah.
So the district is citywide, right? So what's very common is you have just one developer who's opting in to put whatever he builds into the district, right? So everybody else that's outside the district, not outside of that development, is not gonna be impacted by that. They could, somebody could say, hey, I want my house to be subject to the CFD and bring it to council. But that never happens, because why would you? But why it's citywide is because then it gives you an opportunity for another developer to come in and say, yes, I want my development that I'm planning on doing to be a part of the CFD. It's gonna be different rates, because the houses are different sizes, the streets are different sizes, right? Like all of those things change how much you're gonna actually charge the people that live there. But it's very common for developers because they want their neighborhoods that they build to look a certain way and to have certain standards, right? So you could do the 949, which is sort of 940, which is gonna break you even. If you don't, like Dario said in the beginning, you're probably gonna be okay for a few years because there's just less maintenance on newer things, right? The roads are brand new, the sidewalks are brand new, everything's brand new, the trees are small, you don't have to put them as much. But as you come back every year, you have to adjust those because then everything's getting older and everything's getting bigger. And so eventually you're gonna catch up to that. But that's the reason why it's technically citywide, but only these houses in this particular developer's piece of property is going in it and gonna be taxed. As other developers come in, they can decide, hey, we want this thing too, we're gonna do that. And as was mentioned, the property owners know this is going on, it's part of like homeownership, right? It shows up on your property tax statement, just like everything else, the bonds for COS, lighting and landscaping, whatever the tax is, that's how it goes. So it, again, won't affect anybody who has a current home outside of that development, not one. That's why they don't get to vote on it, because it doesn't affect them at all. It's only affecting us development.
Does it become a deterrent?
I'm sorry?
Does it become a deterrent? Because for the property owner, it's like you would just, now you gotta pay $1,000 more a year, and that's gonna go up every year.
Well, it's very popular for the developers though, right? So the developers want this because they want to be able to say, hey, homeowner, if you want to buy in this development, like, we're gonna make sure that these things are trimmed, and we're gonna make sure everything's maintained. Because that's kind of the worst, I mean, there's neighborhoods in town, right, where they're sectioned off and the maintenance has gone down. Right, and so
I mean, when I was a kid, there were some of those, and that was like the popular place to live. But that's why, right, is because the developer says, hey, I'm gonna do this, and take care of this particular neighborhood, and it's gonna have a certain standard.
We could have a code enforcement officer.
I know, we want one.
The alternative to this is that the developer doesn't get it and, they don't, or there's no maintenance on the streets. Sorry, you're not paying taxes, we're not gonna fix the streets, you can fix some other homeowner, you're not getting taxed. You can prune the trees, you can do your sidewalks, you can paint your crosswalks, you can do all that, you can pay for the lights. You know what we want?
My neighborhood looks okay.
But remember, you discussed that one time where like people don't take care of the trees or the plants in their area, just a little small space, they can't even keep up with maintenance, you know? Yes.
That's because they probably don't even know they're supposed to.
Well, let's get that out there, and make sure they're.
So who holds this money, and then how does residents know how money's being spent? Is it transparent at all?
Yes, I'll give you the general, but ours is probably the better one, for Tyler, but, it's very similar to the landscaping district, it's just a different mechanism for that. So everything comes in, it's on the property tax roll, goes into the special fund for the city, for that district, right? So that money's not spread around. But where you might get some savings is in the earlier years where you're not spending all that money, right? And so it stays in that fund, and that's what it's for. But it can cover more things than a lighting and landscaping district. That's why it's popular. So it can help out with the other things like streets. Right?
The streets within that neighborhood. Okay.
Yeah,
Not other streets,
Yeah.
okay.
The
Yes.
list is long.
Just asking.
Yes,
Because I'm not able to
Take care of
remember.
the street.
no, the city does that because the money's coming
Oh,
into the
that's
city.
funny, yeah.
But that's the thing, right? So the city's stuck with maintaining the streets whether you get this money or not.
But it also lists, libraries and.
Yeah, it can essentially help with like all the amenities, right? Like, almost like an impact fee. Because when you bring in more people to the city, there's other things, right?
Mhm.
Public safety goes up, the schools, which is not really council's problem, but, there's more people using the roads, there's more people using the trash, there's more people using the water, the parks, everything. And so that's really what that is for.
I think as a new development, you want your houses to look nice and to maintain,
Of course.
to maintain a certain look. And as a developer, they come in and they're like, these are our houses, this is what they look like, this is why they look like this. That's why they listed at $386,000. Even though it's a smaller house, but that's,
Yeah, I just was wondering about the transparency.
Did that answer your question? Or?
Not really.
So your other question was like, how is it actually spent?
Yeah, how the residents spend it.
So
I
yeah,
mean,
so
mine's being,
very similar. So there's an assessment.
Money.
So the way the assessment is done, right, that, I don't know if those talked about already, but the assessment talks about like, what does it cost to actually do all these things that we've been talking about, right? And then it gets split up amongst the number of houses. That's how you come to the 900 a year number, right? And then every year essentially it's recalculated, like what does it cost what's the wear and tear on the streets, what's the wear and tear on the sidewalks, maintenance,
So
sewer.
they're made aware of that, right, that are being assessed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, very similar to,
There's only one.
right now, there's only one, right? And so as the houses are sold, then the residents are all made aware of that, of the assessment.
When you go to escrow, they disclose everything. Part of that is they disclose part of the CFP,
Well, yeah, but what about throughout the years?
part of the budget, like we do with the lighting and landscaping district, every
Oh,
lighting and
okay.
landscaping district, it's a
you
budget.
get notifications.
And then when we do the budget every year, part of that.
If you're in the area where you have paid for lighting and
Mhm.
the landscape, we get a letter and every year it tells you this is how much you're responsible for. And this is how much it went up, or this is how much it went down. And you do get notified every year, right, from the state.
Okay. Mm,
And your lender. Your lender notifies you if you have a mortgage payment. So those of us that have mortgage payments.
Okay.
Thank you. Any more public comments? 16.1. Okay, seeing no further speakers, I hereby declare that the public hearing is closed. At this time, are we ready to approve the following resolution?
Motion to approve 16.1.
I second.
Commission for the Green Facilities District.
I second.
I have a motion from Sonia, a second from Nate, all in favor? Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Please, don't go anywhere.
I know, it's long.
Your city manager, I believe, is going to have to open up about it. So that's all.
What am I doing? Okay, yeah. So the resolution that we have just adopted establishes the district authorizes the levy of the special tax in the accordance with the adopted rate and method of apportionment and calls an election, which the election is to be held at this time by the city clerk.
We have one ballot. Is in favor. All ballots have been cast in connection with the election for CFD number 2026-1 of the city of Lindsay, and the election has now been closed. The results of the election were unanimous, 27 votes in favor of all propositions.
Thank you. Having heard the statement from the city clerk certifying the results of the election, I will now entertain a motion to adopt. No copy yet. Do I have a motion?
I can motion to approve it.
So it's certifying the ballot.
Oh, no,
certifying the resolution.
Yes. Just the motion to certify the ballot one is, 34.
I motion to approve the resolution for certifies the ballot.
I second.
A motion from Sonia, a second from Nate, all in favor? Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Council.
When I was talking to him, there's one whole schedule part of it.
Are you now, one more?
Well, no, we're not doing 705, is that correct? Is that what you said?
We are, so,
You are, okay.
yeah. So the second hearing will be next, as council meeting.
Okay. This time we're moving on to 16.2, the public hearing and adoption of resolution number 26 through 29, confirming the fiscal year 2026 through 27, the landscape and lighting assessment district assessment. There's an action and recommendation, and this is also by Dario. Thank you today.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, for you, public hearing, for those, lighting, that's the lighting assessment districts. Each year, we prepare a report for the upcoming fiscal year in accordance with Article 4, Division 15 of the Street and Highway Code, referencing Landscape and Lighting Act of 1972, State of California. The engineer's report outlines the budgeted expenses for the present fiscal year, the actual expenses through May, and the projected expenses for the upcoming fiscal year. Each year, there are adjustments made due to increases and or actual expenses. The engineer's report is attached with my staff report. Now I've shared with you guys, not a summary, but essentially a breakdown of how essentially 80 or 90% of the expenses in each district are spent. If you see the highlighted areas, that's for the most part, you have your water usage, your lighting, and then third is your contract for the professional services. I'll do a quick summary of, per district, we'll start off with Sierra View. Sierra View states, the district currently, has a deficit fund balance of, $5,797. Maintaining the assessment at the maximum allowance rate will fund annual maintenance costs and recover approximately $1,000 from the existing deficit. The district is projected to end with a deficit balance of $4,997. Heritage Park assessment. The district currently has a surplus fund balance of $14,401. Surplus funds will be utilized to fund a $5,000 capital improvement, budget for tree trimming. The district is projected to end with a surplus fund of $9,060. Parkdale Springs Assessment District, the district currently has a surplus fund balance of $3,933. The proposed budget includes a $2,500 capital improvement allocation for tree trimming, while maintaining an adequate, reserve for future maintenance needs. The district is projected to end with a surplus fund balance of $3,933. Sweetbriar Plaza, this is Samoa. The district currently has a surplus balance of $9,145. The proposed budget includes a $2,500 capital improvement for, allocation for tree trimming and an assessment to increase, to fully fund annual maintenance costs. The proposed assessment will also maintain, reserve funds for future parking lot, asphalt refurbishment. The district is projected to end with a surplus balance of $9,145. Sweetbriar Plaza, this is at Hermosa. The district, currently has a deficit fund balance of $2,896. Maintaining the assessment and current rate will fund annual maintenance costs, eliminates the existing deficit, and provide a $2,500 capital improvement allocation for, tree trimming. The district is projected to end with a surplus funds balance of $2,156. Additional reserve funding will be needed to, in future years, to prepare for parking lot, refurbishment improvement. Next, the Sierra Vista Assessment District. The district currently has a deficit fund balance of $1,914. A rate adjustment is proposed to recover the existing deficit and restore, the district to a positive fund balance. The proposed budget includes a $1,450 capital improvement allocation, to begin accumulating the district's, share for future weed abatement, and orange stone, drainage fund, maintenance costs. The district is projected to end with a surplus balance of $1,350. Maple Valley Assessment District, the district currently has a surplus fund balance of $4,083. Existing reserve funds are being utilized to support the ongoing operation expenses, with the surplus, the first surplus balance of $3,083. The Palos Ranch, Blue Ranch Assessment District, the district currently has a deficit fund balance of $4,777. Existing assessment revenues are insufficient to cover ongoing maintenance and operation costs. A future assessment increase will be necessary to address continuing deficits and restore the district's financial stability. The district is proposed to end with a deficit fund balance of $8,167. I'm available for any questions.
Have you been using the same people to do the maintenance and stuff this whole time? It's a great question.
This was my first year around, first time around, but I do refer to Joseph.
Joseph,
Yeah,
do we put that out for bid, or like, do we look for local business, somebody else?
Before we used to do it, city staff used to do landscape and lighting districts. Then somehow something, I left, and then when I got back, Clean Cut was doing it, so I'm not sure. I knew we have a contract with them.
So so we haven't like had somebody else come in and do like another estimate, like this is how much.
We actually been talking about it, doing that, try to reach out.
We should do that.
So, yeah. Yeah, just to clarify, we will be getting informal bids.
Okay.
The dollar amount, for our, procurement process, you don't have to have formal bidding and open bids and stuff, but we will have, at least 3 quotes from different companies. that will come in and give us, some, proposals for this.
Yeah,
for
like,
this
well,
work.
I understand like the lighting and the water, that's like,
Yeah,
you know, but the labor of it, I
Absolutely.
think if we could find somebody else, you know, that
We've been-
do it. it would-
together with the parks and Rec, we've been working on it, so we will have something before you, for consideration.
And when you do get a contractor, or someone to do maintenance, whatever they're called, do we do it like yearly? Do we do them a contract of 3 years, 5 years? What?
I've seen it go per year, in my experience, I don't know your but it's per year. And yes, when we sit down and talk about, hey, you want this services done, you know. In my experience, by week, not by week, every week. But again, it depends on the district and the needs. But we do sit down and negotiate the services.
So do you ever request, well, I know because you need this. I'm sorry, but is it, you're too busy. And thank you for separating everything, because it gives us a better idea of where the waste is.
Sure.
Especially, I know Maple Valley, subdivision or whatever, everything's brown, like, no one has used any water whatsoever. And they're still being built. So what's going on there? I mean,
I
there has to be some type of, I don't know, accountability for that.
don't think of, one, I look, get a chance to go out further. And then, secondly, you know, these centers are super old. Some of these go back, if you see the right below the highlighted area, they go back to 92, 96, so they're pretty old, and never been assessed. Historically, and that's what I hear from my finance directors, is that also we've never implemented the CPI, right? So we're kind of stuck with the amount of dollars that are available, but nonetheless, you know, we gotta try our best.
Yeah. But the thing is that what I see is that it's mismanagement of the contracts that we have in place. I mean, if there's no water, there's no greenery to do landscaping because it's all dead. And how do you justify that? To be paying for someone's landscaping when there's none being done?
Can I make a comment on that? So recently we had, sorry. Recently we had the contractor reach out to us. We had a resident that was upset that we're using water to water. Landscape district, Marsh and I went out there. They left us a little note saying that we're watering too much and they're paying too much. So we're trying our best with the contractor to keep everything green. But we do have residents that go out to these districts and vandalize the timers and turn them off because they're gonna save money. So we try our best. It's just never ending battle. So that might be an area where the water's turned off, we got it back on. So we're dealing with, residents, we're dealing with vandals.
But it would be nice to know, as city council
Yeah.
members, we serve our community, and if we don't know these things, how are we able to serve them?
Understood.
100%. You know, moving forward, I just feel that.
It's an email, ladies, yeah, email.
Very simple, the simple than email.
Yes,
Just
thank
like
you.
they email us or text us or
Mhm,
whatever,
call
you
us.
guys could, you know
Yeah.
my number.
Do we have, who keeps, you said it's supposed to be weekly,
Here's your mic.
right? Most contracts are weekly.
I have to again,
Let's just say, argument's sake, so do we have someone from the city to go out, do a quick walkthrough and be like, this is being watered, this is being damaged? Because on the time frame, if we have someone from the city going out there once a year, how long do we know this is being damaged? How do we know this is not being done? Or who's keeping track that that is even being maintained? These people are paying that, so who's keeping track? Is someone going out there and, hey, I'm gonna put my initial on this form saying I came out here and I reviewed and yes, it was maintained, or maybe monthly or every 3 months. I mean,
Currently,
it
we
doesn't
don't
necessarily have to be weekly, but.
Yeah, currently we don't have anybody.
Mhm.
Usually Joseph will drive around, we do an inspection, he'll check the districts. And then he'll inform me, and then I'll send an email to the landscape company to inform them of the issues we have, if it's weed, if it's irrigation, if it's trees. They do an annual maintenance before summer, They go through all our districts, replace sprinklers, anything that's damaged, after the winter time, they'll replace. So they do annual maintenance, make sure everything's running, they're out there weekly. But, you know, they try their best to keep it up too. Unfortunately, you know, we're limited staff to go out and about, but Joseph is our, I would say our main person that does inspect.
So do they ever report to you guys weekly, like, hey, this is messed up, or this is not working, or someone vandalized this?
Sometimes, not all the time,
Okay.
usually they'll reach out to Marshall if there's issues.
Okay, 'cause I think that would be important, maybe not every week, but like maybe every other week to go and make sure that, you know, things are up to par. I think it's just for the residents' sake, you know, they're the ones paying for it, and we wanna make sure that they're getting what they pay for.
I would coordinate with, we'll make sure we're out there.
Thank you.
I just say this is, and just as a best practice as far as reviewing contracts, this is also as far as just making sure that we're getting, the best value and getting a good service. That's another reason why we are also evaluating. So we heard, last year, I think, the current contract is mainly for a mow and blow type of contract, so it's a very minimal type of contract, that was instituted, so a lot of the maintenance or repair, isn't necessarily included, so, but what we've heard from residents that have reached out to us directly, as well as what we've heard from you all, is that, more is, needed. So, again, within a short period of time, within the next month or two, we should be coming back with, some more information as far as contracts moving forward, not only for lighting and landscape business, but there's some other areas that the city utilizes, contracted services for, public spaces.
I just wanna make sure I understand this right, so the increase, decrease per month, like, so for Sierra, Sweetbriar, it's $4.97, right, per month. So that would be 5, 10, 12, $60 a year per lot, okay. So for Sweetbriar Plaza, it'd be $28.04 per month, so times 12, it's like close to $300 per year, right? For Sierra Vista, it would be $7.93, the difference per month.
Correct.
And so that would be $95.16 per year per lot. So the taxes are gonna go up by, in that lot, and I mean, in that, lighting and landscape district, per lot is gonna go up by $95.16 per year. Okay, I just wanna make sure I understand that.
It just, well, I mean, what we're, proposing to increase, it's getting very close to the maximum allowed, so we're not, it's not, nothing illegal, it's just, we can do that.
All right, no more questions? At this time, I'm gonna open up the public hearing for 16.2, just read the time. Hey, Brandon. Thank you.
Good evening, council members. My name is Valentin Gutierrez, and I live in the Sierra Vista Estates. And I wanted to ask Mr. Dario, that you were in deficit that the estates, the deficit, 5,000 something? Yes, right. $5,000 deficit, I think, for mining? Okay, currently, we're here because we are mostly the people that are here from the Sierra Vista State, and we do not agree on the increasement of $7.93 that we're gonna receive, because maybe it's nothing big, but you guys were talking about, you know, it's very good for the community, for the neighborhood to have nice houses, nice landscape and everything, but we don't have that. You know, and now you guys were talking, which is good, you were addressing it, Councilmember Sanchez was addressing that somebody needs to go out there at least once a month to check and see if the work is being done, which is not being done. And our landscape on our side, in our neighborhood, is very small. It doesn't require high maintenance. And our trees that are very young, even though they're young, they haven't been pruned or nothing has been done to them. The only thing that's been pruning those is the high winds that we got, because we got a few trees that were leaning down to the ground. And we had a big rig come down to that traffic circle, and he knocked down a tree, and they never got replaced, never got repaired. We had a few trees that are dried out, okay? So, and then if this, I even have pictures if you guys wanna look at it, but there's a lot of grass coming up. I mean, we don't have grass, but we have a lot of weeds coming up because our landscape is rock. I don't know if you remember, Council Sanchez, we have rocks going into that, little tiny rocks to make a neighborhood look a little bit nicer. And I don't think it's appropriate that we in that neighborhood get to pay more. I think that's what you were asking, is do we receive a letter saying, what is the maintenance company gonna do? What is their job? And actually, at the beginning of spring, there was a whole bunch of weeds coming out there, and the landscapers supposedly were going out there to clean it out. They didn't do nothing until my wife finally got to one of the workers and told him, you guys gotta put some Roundup in those weeds. It looks awful. And they finally did that. Anyways, we pay per lot $364.92 per year right now. And I'm thinking, I'm multiplying, I think it's 19 lots, so we pay $6,000, almost $7,000 yearly. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for a very small size of landscape to maintain. It's ridiculous. I myself could maintain it if I have to. Give me the money, I'll maintain it myself. I'll do it. Because it's nothing big to maintain and that hot. So every, $7.93, you might think it's not much. But within the year, it adds up. It adds up for us because now our mortgage payment is gonna go up. And we don't want that. I'm sure you guys don't want your mortgage payments to go up either. So we are requesting, please do not approve this. I think I heard you, Mr. David, you said you guys are getting 3 approvals or not 3 approvals, but 3 bids proposals. Please try to find the best ones for us, but we do not agree on the $7.93 increase on this because they don't deserve it. They do not deserve it.
Thank you, Valentin.
Thank you very much.
Do you have any more public comment?
Good evening.
Mhm.
Eddie Alcantara, of 834 Orange Avenue. Sierra Vista Estates, it's going up $7 and almost $8. What is that? Almost 23%, something like that per month compared to what it was. These guys, it's a lot like I said, it's a lot of money. It's, it may sound like a little bit, but at the end of the year, it comes out, quite a bit for the work that they're doing or not doing. I was told they came out yesterday. I walked last night, there was weeds still in that area, that landscape.
Oh,
That area. There, where that tree that was knocked over, it's a bush now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a bush for months.
Great.
No one's doing anything about it. Great, who's checking up on these guys? Someone should be checking up on them. You guys drive around, checking the water meters, why can't that guy check them out? And say, hey, no one's doing work. Something, right? Because they've got a contract bid, whatever, a few months go down the road, a year goes down the road, get a little lazier, right? No, checking up on us. So something needs to be done. I mean, either that or, correct me if I'm wrong, we can, as residents, we can vote to dissolve that, right? I mean, do we need to go that route? Not that much. That's 19 houses or 18 houses, whatever it's on that side. I don't benefit as much as some of these guys. I live down the road. I can barely see what the landscape is down there.
Is it it's the roundabout and then down, like you're right here, it's more this way.
Yeah, oh yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm in charge, and I'm not sure. We're all equally charged, right? But is it different for the guys that are benefited a little bit more that are right across? Okay.
Can they make changes?
I think you probably could if you could figure out how to like assess that, but
Yeah.
typically there's not, like,
Yeah.
it's very, very difficult to say, Eddie's being benefited,
Yeah.
less and you're talking probably at that point, you're probably talking about pennies rather than dollars. It would be very difficult.
Well, honestly, I don't hear that they're complaining that they're paying.
Yeah.
The complaint is that the work is not getting done. So why am I paying this amount of money and the work is not getting done? They're not complaining that they're paying. The complaint is that it's not being maintained.
They're not getting their money's
So,
worth.
exactly, so if we can, whoever needs to maintain that, can we maintain that? You know, and if it has to go up at some point, there's an increase, then we're not gonna have people coming over here because they're gonna say, you know what? They've been maintaining and doing a great job. We know that every, you know, so often, you know, labor increases, maintenance increases, whatever they have to put in the weeds, whatever they have to, pay for increases. So that's what I'm hearing, unless I'm wrong, then let me know that, and that I'm not understanding.
No, I
what
mean,
you're
as
saying.
long as the work gets done and, you know, or someone's doing something,
I'm just
right?
trying
or
to think
taking
how
a-
much work, they don't have to mow the lawns, it's all rocks.
Yeah.
And it's like, it is
It's all
all
gravel.
rocks,
It's gravel
and
on that side.
then there's trees.
So it's just basically the.
So I,
So we're paying for someone to go and.
Yeah.
Blow the sidewalk.
Valentin
There's no-
is volunteering to do it.
Hey, cool.
That's kind of amazing.
And, you know, another thing that kind of fell through the cracks, I'm not sure if that roundabout is done yet, as far as the landscape in there, I know it was talked about. Put something there, so where big creeks that aren't supposed to be going down that road, don't run over trees like they did.
Yeah.
We just got some 4 new bushes, I think a year ago, but that was 2 years after they were supposed to be put in.
And
So,
one of them's
yeah.
already dead.
There you go. And I've heard that stuff's not
Yeah.
being watered either.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, there has to be some kind of accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eddie.
yeah, I know, real quick, I just wanna know what the increase is for, if, I don't know if we're able to get a copy of that stuff, come to you, Dario, or what, just why the increase so much?
It's public record, so it's in the agenda, it's
Okay.
online, it's online.
Yeah, but for the people that,
So the increase comes with assessment, I mean, we
Yeah.
do every year based on what we spent last year. So we base, you know, upcoming year based on that.
So spend more, make more.
so I'm sure you'll get an email from me, from you, yeah. But just, and for the people that don't speak English and live down that way, don't have access to that, you know, make it a little bit easier for these guys to get that, so they know what they're doing now, so, right? Yeah. All right,
Thank you, Eddie.
thank you.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
I feel like we need, like, the assessment based off of whoever we're hiring, I just don't feel like the numbers are not matching up for 16.2. And I think that our residents deserve, you know,
It has to
more
make
information, it does.
Maybe
Really
before,
has to
before
make
we start charging them more money,
Yeah.
we need to get a company in to tell us, okay, this is how much it's gonna cost to actually maintain this property. I think that's just fair, because we've just kind of been going off of past practices and past, you know, expenses, and we all understand we have to pay something for it. But I think for transparency and to be fair to everybody, we need to get new bids. Or-
Understood, so because of the. For next year. Yeah. Oh, way too.
I think Dario needs you really quick.
Yeah, sorry. So, this assessment has already been done, but, I mean, you guys, your city council, you can do whatever you want. You can pause that additional, you know, Sarah Lista, you can give it back to what it was last year, which was $80 less.
The assessment that was done by who, I guess would be the question.
Consultant, so it's,
A
Was done by-
consultant, so it was done by.
Consultant.
then with staff. I mean, we're providing numbers, we're providing invoices of what we spent last year in tree trimming and things like that, of that nature, so, and then we come up with this assessment. But again, city council has the authority or the power to do modifications to it. But in terms of sending this over to the county, you gotta do it right away.
So it does seem like, so what, city manager and I were talking about was, you know, if you, so this is these assessments go on the tax roll, right? And so, not that you have to, because you do whatever you like, but if you don't do anything, the minimum I would say that you need to do is approve what you did last year, right? Because you don't want to be in a position where you collect nothing. because
Yeah.
Then you don't have any money to do any of the districts at all. It definitely sounds like maybe the folks who are supposed to be doing this district aren't doing, it,
Mhm.
right? So that's definitely something that needs to be resolved.
So we could keep it the same?
So do that.
You can.
Second motion,
You can
Yeah.
keep it the same.
Okay,
You
that's
can, also keep it the same just for that district, since that seems to be the one where people are saying, hey, nothing's actually getting done.
Well, I think we need for all the districts to maintain until we find out what's going on.
Well, you can, yeah, you can certainly do whatever you like.
Yeah.
And so but the impact that that's gonna have, right, is if you do have districts that are already losing money, they're gonna continue to lose money. And so the general fund is gonna end up basically paying for that while they're not losing money. And that's kind of the theme that we're talking about, which is,
Okay, Mario.
we don't know what the assessment is.
So, but they're losing money because they're being charged more.
Yes. Well, they're not losing money because they're being charged more, right? So if we found somebody for this district, I'll just take this district, for
Yeah.
example. And we knew, hey, they're not doing it right, and we go out for bid and we find somebody who can do it less, then the assessment can be lowered, right, to match what it should. And that assumes all, in other districts, that we have somebody actually doing the work, and that's what it costs them. If we lower the district, or lower the fees, which some
Just
councils,
keep it the same.
yeah,
Until we do an audit or do something.
yeah, but you gotta do it quick, because again, if you're already have a district that's in the negative, you're gonna stay there, right? And then the increase is gonna be more to make up that balance.
For next year.
Right, so you just gotta be aware of the timing.
Well, I also think that we need to be consistent as a city, because I've been here for quite a long time now. And I see the same people in the same district with the same problems coming up. I've been to meetings where they've been, where we've had not council meetings, but meetings with that district, with that particular district. I would not wanna say, it's been probably 3 different times that this has been brought up. And it's me and I can't remember who the other council member was, that we had a meeting. And I'm hearing the same thing every single time. So it's not them. I do believe it's us, and we need to be consistent that if we're gonna say we're gonna do something, we have to follow through. And I'm not blaming staff at all, because staff has come and gone. And we've had different management and being, I get it. But we have to also take accountability to be consistent with these districts. There's 8 districts. 8. I'll volunteer and I'll drive around and I'll make the notes. I'll carry a notebook and I'll go around, although I don't know much about sprinklers or whatever, but I know when one's offline or broken, or when something's brown and not green. I mean, I know that, the difference, but we need to be consistent. It's only 8 districts, and I'm not saying that you guys are not busy. By all means, you guys are doing a fantastic job, spreading very thin across our little town of Lindsay, and I truly appreciate that. But we also have to follow through with what we say. And like I said, these people have been coming several times. This is not the first time. I've seen several, I already know them by name. I mean, some of them I went to school, some of them I know. But they've come several times. This is not the first time. And not just because this district comes, it's just, we're just gonna pay attention to this district. No, it's all 8. Even if one of, the other districts that people didn't show up, that doesn't mean we care less. It's straight across the board.
Yeah, I agree. I just want to say that, I want to point out that fortunately, some of these districts are just very small. So when it's economies of scale, right? When you have 92 lots and you have a fee, $27,000, right? But some of these fees are big, right? This is where I live. It costs $27,000 for my neighborhood, right? But there's 92 homes. When you go to the smallest district, when there's 6, it's still expensive, but it's economies of scale, right? The less people live in your neighborhood, right, the nicer it may be, less neighbors, less kids driving with their scooters, but also, right, there's a cost to that. We raised our rates in water, so we have to make sure we match that. So I don't want to tax people, I don't want to raise rates on anybody, but I also understand economies of scale, right? When your neighborhood is tiny and you don't get that much traffic, right, it's not a through street. Unfortunately, those are the amenities that we pay for. And yes, it's good that we hold staff accountable, contractors accountable, consultants accountable, and we should review everything. But we need to take action and at least keep it to where we're at last year, right? Southern California Edison is going to continue to charge us. We can't just give away the water for free. This is how we built our cities with designing landscaping districts. This was done before we were on the council. Most of us were on the council, some of these were created probably while you were on the council. But this is, this was all disclosed for the people that purchase a home, just like, I purchased a home not so long ago, it's like, I knew I was gonna have to pay. And every year it can change, right? It can go up, it can go down. It's like, the very least that we need to do is keep it at last year's rate. Maybe look to match, the biggest charge is Southern California is, right? One of the other biggest charges is the water. So like, we can't really change that. We can't make it, hey, make Southern California charges less. But hey, let's not charge ourselves for the water that we use to water the trees. I know they're making brown. It's like, everything costs money, conveyance, everything, infrastructure. So we have to do something. At the very least, we should,
We are-
keep it the
we're
same.
gonna keep it the same.
I don't wanna table it, we do have to move forward with it, but yeah, so 16.2 right now, do I have any more public comment on 16.2?
Question, so the utilities and
Go ahead.
on the utilities, can we just
I was
match
gonna-
whatever, if it's an increase, do that increase? And for the maintenance, because maintenance is separate, correct? It's not
Yeah.
separate?
Separate.
It is separate. So can we just keep the utilities the same and the utilities where we should be at, either the increase should be or whatever, and then the maintenance, keep it the same?
I think we should keep all of it the same until they do an audit, because we need to figure out what's going on. Because nobody seems to know.
So out of the 8 districts, staff was only recommending 3 increases in 3 different districts. So what
For
I'm
maintenance.
hearing for all services, that's all included. So we don't, it includes maintenance, it includes utilities, it includes the street lights,
Okay,
right?
but
That
we
wasn't
can-
mentioned.
But we can't just agree.
Covering the deficits.
What the maintenance, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Just the maintenance portion? Leave
Yes.
that at the same and then just add the utilities?
Yes, you can do that. It's
You know what I'm
it's a
saying?
different number, it has to be calculated, but
Right.
yes, you can do that.
But we would have to,
Water and electricity should already, yeah, whatever the assessment,
I would
that is
recommend-
what it is. What is different is the maintenance.
I would recommend, just for the timeliness of this, that we either just approve flat, that would make it a lot more
Okay.
simple, because we'd have to figure that out. And then we'd have to come back and, because it has to, the county's deadline for getting it on the tax roll is within a couple of weeks. So realistically, if we wanted to do this, that discussion needed to happen a couple of months ago. So I recommend that if the direction of council is to just keep it flat, we can just approve the status quo and not have any increases year over year. But we can come back to it at any point, but realistically, the tax roll is only an annual thing.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be implemented until the following year. So this would be set for really a year. We can come back and analyze it sooner than that, but nothing would happen until next
And keep
July.
it closer on the maintenance.
Correct.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, go ahead, sorry, go ahead.
I'm Ignacio Yanez, I live at 94 Orange, CRV. My issue with all of this has been, it's like everybody else, it's just nothing, we don't see the improvements, we don't see, all of that, and you guys are talking about keeping everything the same. The same doesn't work for us. It just doesn't, and I'm not saying give us our money back, because you guys are not gonna do that. But, at the same time, it does feel like, you just, not you guys, because I recognize you, you're speaking up for us, and the last time you did too, so I appreciate that. Most of you, I haven't seen you before. I know Joe, I know Jose, I know Mesco said, so.
That's the thing.
But, obviously, it doesn't feel right for us, but an increase definitely feels wrong. There's a difference, especially because it feels like, this is what I argued the first time when you first proposed this, because we did not know, Joe, Jose, just so you know, we didn't know we were gonna get taxed when we bought the house. None of us knew.
I mean,
And it was different lots, it's a
It's
different,
fine, Fran,
no,
you
no.
have to put
it's a
it-
different vicinity, it was different because there was a big, all those lots were owned by different people. Different contractors own every single lot. So,
When you go to escrow, they give you everything.
well, I mean,
I just
you can
purchased
say,
a house.
you can say what you want, but, the truth is, this was 2013, you know, it was, you know, it wasn't, but the thing is, the point is that, what's it called? Back then, you know, my point was, you don't have your stuff in order, why are you charging us, you know? And this feels like that again, you know? You allocate money for certain things, and then those things don't happen, it just feels like we're getting screwed again. So that's, you know, I would at least hope that just, you know, at the very least, don't increase it. Figure out what's going on, why things aren't what they're supposed to be, and then, you know, maybe take something that isn't like, you know, it would feel better if at least you look outside and you're saying, okay, this is what I'm paying. But right now, I look outside and I'm like, "Ah, this is what I'm paying for, you know? And there's a difference to that, you know, so, you know, I know I'm just one person, but every one of the people that live on that street feel the same way. I feel really bad for Eddie, because he doesn't really get to enjoy it unless he walks around. Other people from other neighborhoods walk there more than, you know, and, you know, it just, you know, I don't know, I just, all I'm trying to say is like, it doesn't feel right. It feels wrong to increase it. It doesn't feel right having to pay for little to nothing, you know, but at the same time, it's like, you know, just please don't make it feel bad, you know, by increasing it. It's not a lot, like you said, $7 or whatever it is, you know, but it adds up. And when you're getting nothing for it, or at least little to nothing, you know, you look at it and you're like, you know, like drops in the bucket, you know, but the bucket's already like, you know, it's like, you already took our money. You already did it. It's already, you know, and you're gonna add just a little more. It's just like adding insult to it.
Thank you, Ignacio.
Thank you.
I had a question, so the deficit that we incur as a city, as an entity to maintain these, who covers the deficit? Right? So the general fund, and who pays into the general fund?
Everyone.
Everybody. Okay, again, I don't wanna tax anybody, right? If you go look at my neighborhood, there's no mulch, right, in between the olive trees. We have Oregon bushes, right, we have dry spots, like, you know, we don't have a great, lighting and landscaping district, right? Like, I pay $295 the max, right, you guys pay currently $364. I would change my house with your house right now, if you want to pay less, right? So like, it's just part of real estate, right? It's part of the neighborhood. And I don't want to charge people, but it's like, we incur the cost, right? We have to do the work, the city, not us, but the city has to do the work, right? We should at least keep it where it's at. I know that it might not feel like we're doing the work, and that's, you know, it's understandable. I feel the same way. I feel like we don't get, my district doesn't get any attention, right? We have feral cats, overgrown trees, right, broken trees, all over the place, you know? It's very, very, very challenging, right? I'm be honest, like, it's very, very challenging. But the other option is to dissolve, right? That's always the other option, and I don't wanna do that either, because then it's up to the neighbors. It's like, I'm not gonna do it, I'm not gonna do it, you did it, I did last, right? So it's like, everybody's gonna get pointing fingers at each other, so it's like, at the very least, as a council, we should take action and keep it the same, right? I know nobody likes getting taxed, right? I voted last year when we were doing this, I voted to increase the rates to the max for my district, for my house that I purchased, right? And when I purchased this home 3 years ago, again, one of the many, many, many hundreds of documents that you sign is that you're gonna be gone to the lighting and landscaping district. Right, everything is disclosed, right? If someone died in your home, it has to be disclosed. Right? And these are the things that have to be disclosed when you purchase a home. So we didn't create these districts, but now we have to take ownership of them. But at the very least, we have to make sure that we don't incur even more burden to our general fund, because a lot of these still have a deficit.
Okay, thank you, Putin. Moving on to 16.2, we are in a motion. Oh, wait, do I have any more public comment at this time? No? All right, public comment is closed. So do I have a motion to keep the rates on 16.2 the same?
Mayor.
Yes.
I think you have a question.
I don't know if you wanted to put that out in Spanish, because we do got some Spanish speaking people.
Oh, and public comment, you don't wanna, yeah, I'll take the public back then.
Si alguien quiere hacer un comentario en español,
sobre lo que estamos hablando, el tema, por favor, si quieren venir para adelante. También lo que estamos diciendo es que por ahorita queremos que el precio se quede lo mismo, no vamos a aumentarlo. Y estamos recomendando que el city, el señor Dario, agarre más presupuestos por a ver qué es el trabajo que están haciendo allá en su vecindario. Y a veces se me van a hablar. Especialmente ahorita, porque ahora me estoy los nervios, pero nomás queremos decirles que sí, nosotros también tenemos preguntas, ¿por qué nos están cobrando esto porque ustedes tienen que algunos árboles y piedras y también estamos preguntando las mismas cosas, pero por ahorita tenemos que dejar el precio como está y para el año que viene ellos van a empezar a para averiguar qué es lo que está pasando. Pero eso es la decisión que tenemos que hacer ahora. Si tienen algún comentario, por favor, o una pregunta, pasen para adelante.
Y ahí va a ser para todos los locales.
No, no. Okay,
And they said that we're gonna keep.
yeah, okay, thank you. The public comment is definitely closed now. Okay, so moving on to 16.2. The motion is to keep the rates the same. Am I saying that correctly?
Well, you need a motion, so the motion could be that, or it could be something else, so, yeah.
I move that we do not increase the rates right now, we keep it the same status quo as it was in the previous year. For all 8 districts.
I'll second that.
I have a motion from Nate, a second from, Flores, all in favor? Aye.
Motion carries.
Do I have any abstain?
Zero.
No.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Council.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on for request for future items, and any request for future items for the,
Yeah, about the scooters, motorized scooters, I think we need to regulate that. I often go across town and I see people in scooters, whether it be children or adults. They're going full blast, they don't stop at the stop sign. They try to do their little, weaves and stuff like that. That's so dangerous. And, you know, us as parents, we need to be careful with what we provide our kids, our children. Because that is very dangerous right now.
I agree, keep an eye, you have your hands full with this, everybody has one.
I would be happy to provide some information on that topic. It is, I will tell you, is, minimum is a statewide problem.
Yeah.
So every chief that I've spoken to at the Cal Chief Conference in San Diego has the same issue. Municipalities big and small. It's an incredible problem. There are some things that we can look at locally, but they are fairly heavily regulated through existing state law.
You got any more requests for future items? No? Well, the meeting is adjourned. Everybody have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.